From up here, Earth looks like it has no problems, a blue marble suspended in nothing. Silent, still, breathing. You cannot see the traffic from here. You cannot hear the arguments about rent. You cannot feel the quiet desperation of a man in his mid-40s, sitting in a car he cannot afford, in front of a house that owns him, scrolling through the net worth of strangers on a phone he bought on credit. From up here, it all looks peaceful, but I have been watching for a long time now. And what I have learned, what the silence of space teaches you, if you stay long enough, is that distance does not hide the truth. It reveals it. Today, I want to talk to you about gravity. Not the kind that keeps your feet on the ground. The other kind. The kind that keeps your life on the ground. Every human life begins with a launch. You are born with nothing, a clean slate, no debt, no obligations, no financial gravity pulling at you yet, just potential energy, pure and untouched. And for most people, the greatest financial gift they will ever receive is not an inheritance. It is not a scholarship. It is not a lucky investment. It is the 23 years they waste not knowing that. Let me tell you about two people. I have watched them both from up here. I have logged their trajectories. I have done the math that neither of them ever did for themselves. I will call them what they truly are. The first, I will call him the performer. The second, I will call her the builder. They are both 22 years old. They both just got their first real paycheck. This is where the orbits diverge. The performer feels the money hit his account like a defibrillator to the chest. For the first time in his life, he has proof. Tangible, numeric, undeniable proof that he has arrived. He does not think about where he is going. He is too busy proving where he has been. Within 3 months, he has leased a car. Not because he needs to get somewhere. Because he needs to be seen arriving somewhere. The monthly payment is $460. He tells himself it is not much. He does not calculate what $460 invested monthly from age 22 would become by the time he is 50. Here is what nobody tells you about that number. At a conservative 7% annual return, the kind that index funds have delivered on average for the last 100 years, $460 a month, starting at age 22, becomes $1.4 million by age 65. He did not buy a car. He bought a $1.4 million car. He just doesn't know it yet. The builder gets the same paycheck. She feels the same electricity. She also wants the car. I want you to understand that. She is not made of different material. She is not wired differently. She does not have access to some secret knowledge. She just has a different relationship with the future. She opens a brokerage account. She sets up an automatic transfer, $400 a month. It happens before she can see the money, before she can feel it, before it can become anything other than what it is supposed to be. And then she does something that looks, from the outside, like nothing at all. She waits. From up here, watching the two of them, the performer is louder, the builder is brighter. I want to talk about a particular kind of madness. It is not the madness of the unstable. It is not dramatic. It does not look like a crisis from the inside. It is the madness of the completely rational person making completely irrational choices for reasons that feel completely justified. It is the madness of spending money you have not yet earned on things that will not last, to impress people who are not paying attention, to feel something that will be gone before the credit card statement arrives. And I have watched this from 4.2 light minutes away, and I want you to understand, it is not a personal failing. It is a gravitational field. Here is what nobody tells you about the psychology of performance wealth. The human brain did not evolve in a world where strangers could observe your status signals from a distance. For most of human history, if you wanted to signal that you were doing well, that you were safe, that you were capable, that you were worth trusting, you signaled to your tribe. A small group, people who knew you, people whose opinions had direct consequences for your survival. Then the world changed. The tribe became the internet. The village became the city. The campfire became the Instagram feed. And the brain, ancient, slow adapting, loyal to its old programming, looked at this massive anonymous audience of strangers and said, "They must think I am doing well, at any cost." The performer buys the car. then the apartment that matches the car, then the clothes that match the apartment, then the dinners, the trips, the watches, each one a small, expensive answer to a question nobody actually asked. Each purchase creates a new baseline. The brain adapts to the new level of stimulation and needs more. The car that thrilled him at 22 feels ordinary at 25. The apartment that made him feel successful at 25 feels insufficient at 28. This is not weakness. This is hedonic adaptation. It is biology. It is the same mechanism that makes you stop hearing the hum of the refrigerator after 2 minutes, applied to your entire financial life. Here is what nobody tells you about lifestyle inflation. It does not feel like inflation. It feels like growth. Every upgrade feels like evolution, like you are becoming more. Like the previous version of you was just a rough draft, and this is the real thing. But here is the brutal mathematics of it. Every dollar that goes toward performing wealth is a dollar that cannot compound. It is not just spent. It is removed from the future. And the future, unlike the present, has no tolerance for performance. The future only counts what actually exists. I have done the math on the performer's first decade. Between the car lease, the apartment upgrade, the credit card balance carrying $3,000 at 22% interest, the dining out 4 nights a week, the 2 international trips financed on installment plans. By 32, he has earned approximately $410,000 over 10 years. He has a net worth of negative $14,000. A decade of work. Negative. From up here, it looks like light. From up close, it is burning. Einstein taught us that time is not constant. It bends, it stretches, it compresses. Depending on where you are, how fast you are moving, what gravitational field you are caught inside, time does not pass the same way for everyone. I have thought about this for a long time out here, and I believe there is a financial equivalent to the relativity of time. A dollar invested at 22 is not the same as a dollar invested at 32. They are not the same object. A dollar at 22 has 43 years to compound if you retire at 65. At 7%, that dollar becomes roughly $19. A dollar at 32 has 33 years. That same dollar, under the same conditions, becomes $9.50. The same dollar, the same intention, the same discipline, half the result. This is what I mean when I say time is the only asset that cannot be repurchased. You can earn more money, you can change careers, you can sell your possessions, move cities, start over. But you cannot buy back the compounding years of your 20s. They are gone, not misplaced, not deferred, gone. The builder is 32 now. She has been contributing $400 a month for 10 years. She has also increased that contribution as her salary grew, never dramatically, always quietly. Her portfolio is worth approximately $94,000. She has never talked about it at dinner. She has never posted about it. She has never worn it. It is invisible. It is also, for the first time in her adult life, beginning to work harder than she does. Here is what nobody tells you about the compounding curve. For the first 10 years, it is almost insulting. You put in real money, real time, real discipline, and the numbers grow slowly, modestly, without drama. The performer looks at her account balance at 32 and does not understand why anyone would sacrifice so much for so little visible reward. What he cannot see, what the human brain is neurologically incapable of intuitively grasping, is what happens next. Between 32 and 42, if she does nothing else, nothing, the account does not grow by another 94,000. It more than doubles. And between 42 and 52, it does not double again. It quadruples. The same force that looked weak and unimpressive in its first decade is now moving with the momentum of a body that has been falling through space for 30 years. Unstoppable, silent, inevitable. That is what she built, not a performance, a star. This is the part of the log I find the hardest to dictate. Not because the math is complicated, but because I have watched so many people reach this place and I have watched the expression on their faces when they finally understand. The 40s. Let me be precise about something. The 40s are not when the consequences arrive. The consequences arrived silently, invisibly, every single month for 20 years in the form of compound interest that did not accumulate, in the form of principle that was never preserved, in the form of time that moved forward without them. The 40s are simply when the reckoning becomes impossible to defer. The performer is 43. He has a good job. He earns well. By any ordinary measure, he looks successful. He has a car, newer than the first one. He has a home, mortgaged, as homes tend to be. He has a family that depends on the architecture of his financial life without knowing how it was built. And one Tuesday, for no particular reason, he opens a retirement calculator. He types in his age. He types in his current savings, $38,000, accumulated over the last few years when he finally started paying attention. He types in his expected retirement age. He presses calculate. The number that comes back is not the number he needed, and here is the cruelty of compound interest in reverse. At 43, to retire at 65 with any semblance of the life he performs now, he would need to save not $400 a month, not $800, not $1,600. The math says $3,200 a month every month without stopping at favorable market returns just to approach adequacy. $3,200. From a salary that is already fully allocated. This is what I call financial gravity. Not debt alone, not bad luck alone, not insufficient income alone. It is the weight of compounding time against you, the mirror image of the force that was working silently for the builder all those years. He closes the laptop. He goes to make coffee. He does not call anyone. There is nothing to say. Here is what nobody tells you about the 40s. The 40s are not a new beginning. I am sorry. That is a comfortable lie, and I will not tell comfortable lies from 4.2 light minutes away. The 40s are the last decade in which compound interest can meaningfully change your retirement trajectory. At 55, you have 10 years left before traditional retirement age. 10 years of compounding does not build wealth. It preserves it if you are lucky. At 43, you have 22 years. 22 years is still meaningful. It is not the gift that 20 years in your 20s would have been, but it is not nothing. This is not a script about despair. But I will not pretend the mathematics are symmetrical. They are not. A year at 22 and a year at 43 are not the same unit of time. Not in this universe, not under these physical laws. I have logged a great many observations from this distance. And I want to tell you what I have never seen. I have never seen someone escape Earth's financial gravity by earning more. That seems counterintuitive, so I will say it again. I have never, not once, in all my observation of the blue marble below, seen someone build lasting financial freedom simply by increasing their income. I have seen people earn $300,000 a year and retire in debt. I have seen people earn $60,000 a year and retire in quiet, total freedom. The variable was not income. The variable was never income. Here is what nobody tells you about escape velocity. In physics, escape velocity is the minimum speed an object must reach to break free of a gravitational field without further propulsion. For Earth, that speed is approximately 40,000 kilometers per hour. Below that speed, you fall back, no matter how high you have climbed, no matter how much fuel you burned getting there. Below escape velocity, gravity wins every time. Financial escape velocity works the same way. It is not about the size of your paycheck. It is about the ratio of what you keep versus what you perform with. A person earning $200,000 a year, spending $195,000, has a savings rate of 2.5%. They are not approaching escape velocity. They are falling slowly, elegantly, in an expensive spiral. A person earning $60,000 a year, spending $36,000, has a savings rate of 40%. They may reach escape velocity before 50. Capital is not earned. I want you to sit with that sentence. Capital is not earned. Capital is preserved. Every dollar you earn has already been earned. That is done. That is history. The only question that matters from a compounding perspective is whether you transform that earned dollar into preserved capital, or whether you transform it into a depreciating performance. The golden spacesuit, I think about this image sometimes, floating up here. Imagine an astronaut who spent everything on a golden spacesuit, magnificent, gleaming. Everyone at the launch pad gasped when they saw it, but there was no budget left for oxygen. That is what a luxury car on a leased payment looks like to me from up here. That is what a wardrobe that costs 6 months of savings looks like. That is what the dinner that was photographed more carefully than it was eaten looks like. Golden, airless, spectacular at the launch pad, unsurvivable in the actual journey. The builder is 47. Her portfolio, which she has continued feeding with quiet, almost boring regularity for 25 years, is now worth approximately $840,000. She did not become a different person to achieve this. She did not sacrifice joy. She traveled modestly, intentionally. She did not live in austerity. She lived in alignment. She simply decided at 22, on one unremarkable Tuesday, that her future self deserved the same financial consideration as her present self. That is the entire secret. That is the whole philosophy. Your future self is a real person. They will wake up one morning in a body that is older, in a world that will not pause for them with whatever financial architecture you are building right now. The performer is also 47. He is making changes now, real ones. He sold the car. He is renting something smaller. He has cut the subscriptions, the restaurants, the signals. He will not recover the first 2 decades of compounding. That is simply true. But he has 18 years. And 18 years, approached with the discipline of someone who finally understands the cost of performance, can still build something real. Not as much as it could have been, but something real. From up here, I have one final observation. The people who escape financial gravity are not the ones who earned the most. They are not the smartest. They are not the luckiest. They are the ones who made the same quiet, unglamorous decision repeatedly, across years, across decades, without applause and without an audience. They understood something fundamental. That wealth, real wealth, is not a performance. It is not something you wear. It is not something you park in front of a restaurant to be seen. It is not something that other people need to be able to see to count. Wealth is a number on a screen that represents choices made in rooms where no one was watching. The most expensive thing I have ever observed on that blue marble below is not a luxury car. It is not a penthouse. It is not a designer watch. The most expensive thing I have ever observed is a 25-year-old who has decided that right now is for living, and the future will take care of itself. The future does not take care of itself. The future is taken care of by you, right now, in the choices that no one sees. I have been traveling for a long time. And from here, I can tell you with complete certainty, the only thing more powerful than Earth's gravity is the compound interest of a decision made early enough. Make the decision early enough.